Now, I don't know if y'all seen this documentary, but y'all need to get there. So I've seen a lot of Diddy documentaries, right? But this right here sets apart all of them, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's the way they had the timeline. It's the way they had video footage. It's the way that they had police records, police tapes, the interrogation tapes. I mean, 50, where you get this from? The phone calls. And how did he get the footage of what was leading up to trial? Like, who gave you that footage? And then the people who was actually there was there as well. Now, I did find it odd that Diddy claim to fame was the tragedy at the high school. Does that look or sound familiar to y'all? Well, we're gonna keep going. Everything is alleged in my opinion and according to 50 Cent documentary. Look, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Now, I also find it interesting that his mom threw a lot of parties as well with celebrities. Everybody that came in had stuff off the runway, and she was just known for lavish parties, but they were at her home. Now, the neighbor, which they had pictures, back in the day pictures from the 70s, yeah. Them pictures, yeah, he said that P. Diddy got beat by his mom, okay? He was like, now look, I got whoopings, I got beatings, okay? But he got beat. So it pretty much just gives you the timeline and the history of all the behavior that we see currently. Now, what I also found interesting is that Biggie wanted to go to London. He didn't want to go to LA for that little party. Now, I also find it interesting that the person who was in charge of planning like the planes and making sure they had clothes and doing all the organizing and everything, he said that Diddy called him and was like, yeah, cancel that flight to London because he's going to LA. But then he got a call from Biggie and was like, yeah, I don't know, Diddy tripping. I'm trying to go to London, but he don't want me to go to London. He want me to stay in LA. But then in the Can't Stop, Won't Stop documentary, Diddy says, yeah, I don't know. Biggie just wanted to go to LA. You know, he wanted to promote peace. So, you know, I just did what Biggie wanted to do. Somebody lying. Somebody lying. Then they had the detectives that was on the case saying, oh yeah, Diddy made it very hard for us. Like, he did not make this easy to try to figure out who was the cause of all of this. Not only that, allegedly Diddy had Biggie pay for his own funeral. I know you lying. When I say they have documentation for all of this stuff, transcripts. Now, what I also found interesting is that when Diddy was about to go to jail, he was doing his trial or whatever, he went to Harlem because he felt like he needed to be surrounded by people that was real because people was leaving. They was dipping off. They didn't want to be around him no more. He got back in the car after visiting them people from Harlem and was like, ooh, I got to take a bath. Ooh, I need some hand sanitizer. Damn. Now, I understand when you come around strangers, you got to be cautious, but the way he was saying is if he was just disgusted, like he was forced to go out there. Now, this documentary was less about the allegations, but more about the timeline and just the perception of everything. They also timeline the family trauma to how that affected Diddy to how that is now going towards his son. This was a documentary full of evidence and less about opinions. Now there's 4 episodes. It's about an hour, some change for each one. Y'all need to watch this. Again, everything is alleged. In my opinion, I'm getting everything from the Diddy documentary. Make sure y'all follow that YouTube, Dark Skin Queen 2.0. This is wild work.